Another one that we're going to talk about next, I'm excited about as well. Pryce Yates. For me, I'll just go ahead and get this off my chest. We need him healthy.
Yep.
We signed him for a reason. He wreaked havoc on us in the Fenway Bowl game.
Bowl game MVP.
Yep, bowl game MVP. But we need him healthy. I mean, he set out some time, at UConn, due to injury, and then then he has a stellar performance at the bowl game. Then comes to Carolina. There was a little bit of rumblings, coming out of spring. Now, I'm not going to say injured per se, but still something happened, right? Because he went off in the bowl game, and then I think he was. Was he participating in the spring game? I don't think he was. Was he?
No, he was on the sidelines in a
Yeah.
brace.
Yeah, he was on the sidelines in a brace. So something happened again. Also, we were talking to a current player, and wasn't able to go against him in practice. But I think we've seen him out there, right? Some of the videos that Carolina's posted. So it seems like he's back on the field. But I think he can produce at a high level as if he stays healthy. But Pryce Yates, Trevor, get in here. What do you think? Well, if Pryce Yates stays healthy, what can he provide this Tar Heel defense?
So you mentioned we were talking to that player, and the question we asked him was like, well, who on that? He told us two guys. We said, who on that defensive line was the toughest to go with, or you're most excited to go against? And the first guy he mentioned was this cat. He said, I was really excited to go against Pryce, but he had some stuff. He was banged up. We didn't get a chance to go against each other. So he comes in with a reputation, right? He's coming in with expected to contribute, expected to be the main, if not the main dude, one of the main dudes in this room. And we saw what he did in the Fenway Bowl. And, man, I want to add this in. We know about his injury history, but Troy last year he played in only 7 games. 21 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks. And, I mean, he's a ball player, dude. If he can stay healthy, another cat, Belichick, defensive lineman from UConn.
Yeah.
Like this is
Belichick-esque if it's any,
right.
You know what I mean?
And the story about, I don't know if you guys remember, but I remember, I think it's Jim Moore, the coach at UConn. That was a tweet that went out, and he was
I remember this.
There's this school that's going after our players. We're gonna blah blah blah. It's the age of college football we're in right now. It's been going on for so long now. It's a little, I guess, more obvious. But this cat literally goes out, wins the MVP. Belichick's not even at the game. I'm sure he's watching it, and then we go out and snag him in the portal, dude. I think that is the funniest thing. So I hope he can stay healthy because we're going to need him. And he should be day one, the starter when we play TCU. He should be one of the first guys on the line on the field.
Yeah, this was the cat that I was mentioning about, with Melcart, being, rotating snaps. Yeah, Pryce is a guy, Chris posed the question, if he's healthy, what can we expect from him in a Carolina uniform? You look in 2022 when he played, he did all the production you just listed, Trevor, last season in just 7 games. But you're looking at 2022, 45 tackles, played in 13 games, 9 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks. 2023 season featured in 12 games, 42 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, and 4.5 sacks. And, 21 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, and 3.5 snaps in 7 games last season. So that kind of gives you an insight of what kind of production you can get from Pryce Yates fully healthy. And, a guy that comes in from a UConn program that's, been building over the last few seasons. I remember when UConn football, and for the majority of my life, UConn football has been irrelevant. I mean, it was much like Kansas in football. They just thought of him for basketball, but he knows about building up a program, which is sort of kind of what Carolina's doing, a way better foundation than what most programs, have off of a fresh coaching, a fresh head coaching hire. But I'm definitely, if Pryce Yates can stay healthy, I'm super excited to have him in Carolina Blue this season because I think, like you said, Trevor, a guy that can come in and be the staple of our defense. A guy that can anchor us down, fly all around the field, has a nose for the football. And, him and Melcart, man, I think are the two guys, in my opinion, this season that can really, really wreak havoc and be, 1A, 1B for best players on our defense. I think Pryce is obviously the leader in that group, in my opinion. But, what better 1A, 1B or duo? We mentioned Bo and Melcart. You look at Melcart and Pryce. That's a hell of a tandem coming off the edge. You add Smith Vilbert, in the conversation as well. That's three solid options coming off the edge right there. Then you can rotate them.
If he stays healthy, this is an NFL football player. And when you were going through his stats, man, multiple years of 4.5+ sacks. And he would have had it last year if he played more than 7 games.
Yeah.
He's consistent.
Watch this video. I just want to make sure we saw this. I smiled a little bit and laughed when we played it first, but watch how he levels his quarterback and the defensive lineman comes up to just like peel him off the ground. Boom.
Look at that. 4th down. That was 4th down.
Watch.
Boy out there making plays.
He just peels him off the ground. It's okay, buddy.
Guy that comes in, college football ready, in terms of, body build and stuff like that. And, looking to build off of his time at UConn. How many years of eligibility does he have left, guys? 1 year. So this is his lone year in Chapel Hill right here.
Yeah. I just, man, I hope he really can stay healthy,
I think if he stays healthy, like Trevor said, man, we got somebody special and we got an NFL caliber guy in Chapel Hill for one season.
Hey, Tar Pit crew. Thanks for tuning in today. You just heard a clip from a recent episode where we broke down one of the key position groups. If this episode hit the mark, do us a favor, like it, drop a comment, and share it with a friend. That kind of support keeps the podcast rolling. You can catch full episodes of the Tar Pit Podcast on Spotify and YouTube. Don't forget to follow and subscribe today. The Tar Pit Podcast is proudly powered by Untapped Sports Network. Thanks for listening, and as always, go Heels.